be pissed. I'm gonna be like, why would you release your game in November? If you could, I guess maybe if you're running out of money, that is a reasonable reason to release your game. But it's gonna be a lot easier to garner attention.
Right, lads. What on?
I love that I think it was the year Bayonetta
Deploying
came out.
flashbang.
The publishers were like, so disenfranchised by the Call of Duty cycle that they kept pushing their games further and further back to avoid it, and eventually it created a I don't know. It was January. That needs to happen. No. It's not gonna happen. I just want it not to happen.
We played it at PAX. I have one. I would just like it to exist.
An unanswerable question for you, but do you know how, if at all, the story relates to Bayonetta 1?
I have no idea whatsoever.
Okay. I actually kind of like this story, as ridiculous as it was, so I'm curious to know if it's like a continuation or if we just went off in a weird direction with it.
Modern music brings up at least it doesn't. True, some extent,
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. Like, at least
hotness.
Well, if you play like a game that's it's not great like a week after it comes out, at least you're like, well, I'm playing this because it's new. But if you're in January and you're like, okay, I didn't get a chance to check out, Bumfuck 69.4, and then you play it and you're like, this is bad. You're like, why would I ever produce coverage of this? It's 2 months old and it's bad. It doesn't need any attention. It's not like it's going to be a consumer awareness video or something like that. Like, from a coverage standpoint, it puts you in a weird place. There's a point to covering new stuff, whether it's good or bad, because people are looking for opinions on it. And there's a point to covering old stuff that's good or great, because then it's like you're raising awareness. Like, hey, maybe you missed this one. It's actually awesome. But there's basically very little reason to cover old games that are, like, 6-month or 3-month-old games that are terrible, except from, like, an entertainment standpoint.
Right, and if you can come up with your own angle on it, then sure, but I don't think a lot of people do that. If you're doing it just from, like, a strictly review perspective, it's just, yeah, you're not adding a lot of value with that.
That's my big thing.
Yeah, pretty much agree. Bumfuck 69.4, yeah, that was a pretty good game.
It was a classic. One of my favorites.
It's strange that you just used it in the context of a game that you shouldn't cover, though.
I don't know why, yeah. Well, you're right, that was
really
it's not fair to the developer.
Flashbang.
No, it isn't. I don't have the bomb today. Okay, let's see what other tweets we've got.
Heat-ass boat. I just think heat-ass fight.
How about the Terraria 1.2 update? May not be Game of the Year, but in the top 10, also Stanley Parable Cloudberry Kingdom. Alright, well, I know your opinion on Cloudberry Kingdom.
Will not be in there.
Scumberry Kingdom, apparently.
I don't think Cloudberry Kingdom is very good.
I liked it.
That being said, I think Cloudberry Kingdom is a really good example of how to market your not-so-great indie game. Because they got a lot of people. They got a lot of people talking about it and playing it, and people were really into it. But I think it was more buzz than the game should have generated. And I don't mean that from a salty perspective. I mean it from a good on you marketer's perspective. If more games did that and offered early access, and then were like, hey, just have a competition amongst yourselves.
Don't you think, though, that the only reason it even could have caught on to that extent from a marketing perspective is because there was something to grab onto gameplay-wise?
Nah, I think it's okay. I think it's an okay game.
All right.
It's not bad enough that people will be like, oh, I don't want to play this. Of course, if anybody likes a game, far be it to say like, oh, you only like it because of this superficial reason. But I think the main reason a lot of people played it was like, oh, I want to prove my supremacy in these games I kind of grew up on. That was a really
I guess there's something to that, but yeah, I felt like it was the only situation where you could encounter a level design that ridiculous that was still solvable.
True.
So to that end, I thought that it was, kind of a unique presentation.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. It's cool that it's procedurally generated. Controls felt really tight, just like the killer if you have a mega hard platformer like that. Some people did have problems with controls, some people didn't. I did, and that's like a deal breaker. Also,
I learn to live with them, but I agree that they're not tight.
it looks and sounds like. Anyway, Cloudberry Kingdom. I'm not mad that some people like it. That guy, look at that guy's mouse sensitivity.
Yeah, he was really going fast. What was the other thing in that?
Isn't that the idea behind the Spelunky Daily? Yes, but I think Spelunky is... This is not a controversial thing, but I think Spelunky is a better game. Like, procedurally generated.
I will say that I agree that it's objectively a better game, but I also think that if you then get into in terms of what you're trying to offer, Cloudberry Kingdom does have something to offer that's unique. It just might not be for everybody. So that's how I agree to disagree.
It's kind of like if I was to pitch it.
Okay.
Without wall jump.
Ferrari 1.2 update. I don't know that really warrants like a mention on a Game of the Year thing, but it seems to be very robust. I'm just getting into some of the new content now, and it seems like there's a ton of it. So I'm pretty surprised. Yeah. But I just started, I got to hard mode just the other day in my Let's Play of it, and there is a variety to see. I just started, I got to hard mode just the other day. That if I play it every day. So yeah, it does feel like an entirely new game, but then it's pretty wild to think that they also announced Terraria 2, and also Starbound is coming out. Yes, like, that's a lot of procedurally generated sandbox games from a 2D perspective.
He moves so fast.
Yeah, it worries me a little bit with that level of new content, like that maybe we're going to oversaturate that concept very quickly. I mean, or some people might think it's already oversaturated.
The concept of, like, survival sandbox games?
Survival sandbox 2D perspective games, which is a very specific niche within a niche.
True. I will admit, I'm kind of getting to that point. I'm still excited for Starbound, though.
Yeah, that's supposed to be, like, in a few days, right? I think it's a 4th.
The beta starts. I'm not sure for what level of pledge, but they did that, like...
Well, I'm going to be playing it.
Yeah, same. Oh, jeez. He had, like, the gun that has 200 bullets! Hardly fair. What I was going to say as well is, game people haven't brought up because everyone's going to be mad when this comes to light. Splinter Cell Blacklist will be on my list 100%. It's become kind of a running joke because I'm like the guy who's like, yeah, but seriously, Splinter Cell Blacklist. But seriously, Splinter Cell Blacklist, man, it's pretty good.
There it is.
And people are always like, well, yeah, it's good because of the multiplayer. And I'm like, yeah, the multiplayer is real good, but I have 50 hours in the single player. I think it's a really good game. Derek Rar just subscribed as well, which means he agrees with me, so stick him up.
The fact that he subscribed to me.
I find that, and I know you're not necessarily in this camp, but I find that a lot of people that are completely incredulous to the idea that Splinter Cell Blacklist is good are people that wrote it off from the beginning because, like, oh, you know, Sam Fisher's voice changed, or, oh, like, it's a little bit more casualized, which is not wrong. It is, especially on the, like, normal difficulty level, which is probably far too easy. But inside of that, it is a beautiful stealth action game, and on perfectionist difficulty, it really feels like that.
I don't know how much I really can say about it. I don't feel like I'm qualified to pass that.
I will say, you know, don't take that as I totally wrote it off originally. Like, I saw it at PAX like 4 times. I don't want to see that. Splinter Cell's like everyone knows after Chaos Theory, Splinter Cell's just been bad. It's not true. Blacklist is real good.
Counter-terrorist
back.
think if I get jaded to a game like that, it's just because of the whole military element, and it just feels like that's such a popular thing. It's like I kind of want something different, but it doesn't mean that the game is intrinsically bad for any reason. It just means that I might be a little bit biased in my perception of it.
And you are 100% right that the story in Splinter Cell Blacklist is typical, like, Tom Clancy, rah-rah,
Right,
military industrial.
That's what you
concept
expect. I mean, it's a Tom Clancy game.
Right.
So I shouldn't really be taking any points off for that. So that's my problem, not the game's.
Well, it's kind of the game's problem. The story's pretty bad. I mean, you're right. It's not unexpected. But I tried to get a no-scope. It didn't work. At the same time, it's also, like, just not very good. So, you know, I don't think there's anything wrong with you for not liking this idea.
Yeah, the idea of the story, not even the story itself, because I didn't play it enough to know.
Yeah. The story itself
But I had fun playing the multiplayer with you guys. That was good.
The multiplayer is real good. And you know what? The co-op campaign... And I like it. And I realize I'm going to have to make exactly the same arguments when I, you know, do whatever kind of year-end coverage I do, because that's just the way it works. That's a game that a lot of people are really kind of like skeptical of for reasons that may or may not be reasons that I can think about it.
It would be kind of hilarious though to see your top 10. It's like 9 indie games and 1 AAA.
That's probably what it's going to be like, in all honesty.
Right.
Yeah. Be on it. Assassin's Creed 4 won't be on it. It's been a real frustrating experience lately. But the first like 5 or 6 hours of it were quite good.
I like the idea of thinking about it like a pirate simulator.
Yeah.
If you can do that, I guess that kind of helps a little bit. But that's not going to get you around the multiplayer issues if you had them.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, we won.
Hooray!
We're 7-1 now. That was like our go-to, or our do or die one.
Indie Fred asks, ridiculous fishing? Well, I'm not sure we're including mobile games in here, but if we were, I would definitely want to nominate Ridiculous Fishing. I thought it was an outstanding game.
I played a bunch of that probably 2 months ago. Real good.
But once you've done everything there is to do in it, it doesn't have any reason to come back, really, unfortunately.
Yeah. It's real good, though.
I wish there was more. I would keep playing it. It was one of the few games that made me drain my entire battery out in my phone in like a few, hours.
It takes a lot for me to get interested in playing a game on mobile. It's ridiculous fishing. Still early access, so that's one I don't... You know, obviously I spent a ton of time with it, but... Oh, I thought I could get him. I'm not sure. Maybe not. Maybe, but also maybe not.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think if that really should fall in. It's hard to take a game that's strictly about competition and put it up against games that have like a position story, right? It seems like there's a whole different classification going on then.
Man, we got our asses kicked.
Yeah, we did. And that's not to say that there's anything worse about it. It's just hard to compare them then.
Yep.
Like, if you look at Gone Home and then you look at Speedrunners, they couldn't be more opposite in terms of what they offer.
Well, you
Apparently
clearly are not ready for the mashup.
That would be wild.
Yeah.
Run through the house as fast as you can, over and over.
Yeah, and like, oh, I'm going up to the attic. Oh, you hooked me back down into the basement, you scumlord. You're totally gonna realize, like, the inner revelation faster than I am. Anyway.
Someone proposed that I make speedrunners in Terraria, because there's basically all the stuff that happens in that game in Terraria, and I thought that would be freaking hilarious.
That would be pretty cool. Papers, Please is definitely going to be on my list. Just asking you about it again.
Yeah, very good idea.
I took some time to finally play through the whole story of that game. And, you know, there's branching endings. And it goes to some pretty interesting places. It's real good. Everyone knows that already, but yeah.
All right, gentlemen, this is it.
Good game.
I mean, if you distill it down, it's basically kind of like a time management sim, right? Is what you would classify that under?
Yeah, it's like, you know, post-Soviet Diner Dash. Put it on the marketing material.
But it's different enough that you almost don't feel like it fits into any genre, which is kind of unique. It's refreshing to see something that doesn't fit into any genre anymore.
Very true.
Not a lot of that going on.
Gameplay is real satisfying, too.
Why am I shooting at you? You're on my team.
Oh, no. Somebody said, Skylar Barwell said, is enemy within different enough to qualify? No, probably not. I mean, I don't think it adds, like, enough.
Bomb has been planted.
my game of the year or even close, but it's definitely one of my favorite, one of the most valuable expansions.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you how you felt about the value proposition and the pricing scheme for that, because I saw I played a bunch of it with Ohm on his stream, and I was a little bit put off that you had to play like 4 hours of the game to get to the part where you could get to see the expansion at all.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's just like, it's a blanket that goes over top of Enemy Unknown. But the new content happens like constantly. So, you know, I think it's worth it.
What was the price again? It was like $20 or something?
$30.
30. Yeah, that's a lot.
Kate is giving our cat a bath right now.
I heard a sound like a cry for help a little bit.
I may go check that out.
Yeah, feel free if you want.
I get murdered.
Hey, get shot or something.
I'm pretty sure our cat is not being drowned against its will. But it's the kind of thing that I'd be more comfortable if I checked it out.
Just in case.
You never know. You know, sometimes mental things happen. I saw it on House once.
Yeah, that guy has a tough life.
Yeah.
House the
oh,
doctor.
I'm a doctor. Oh, I'm handsome. Like, oh, get over it.
And rugged. Don't forget rugged.
Oh, that was the worst shot I've ever taken in my life. Well, that qualifies as well.
Yeah. I just keep assaulting my teammates every 5 seconds.
That's good, especially that Doge guy. He's
trying to keep him on the ropes a little bit. Jump and if you can do a complete 360.
I got my sensitivity up to 69.
So the tiniest micro movements of your mouse cause you to spin in a complete circle. I was killed by Sweet.
Deploying flashbang.
What the heck is going on here? I don't see anybody. I see the bomb. Am I a terrorist? I'm a terrorist. Okay. Let's do this.
I know that you like Too Fast, Too Furious.
The film?
Apparently.
Notice I don't call it a movie.
The movie film.
Nick, is this you?
No, I'm dead.
Alright.
Alright.
I may win this.
Can you drown something with its consent?
Something, someone just subscribed as well. Let me alt-tab. Yep. Van Celis! Stick him up, thank you very much. Nick, I got
I want to put Dire Tide on my top 10 list for the year.
Whoa, brave man. No.
Yeah, because they gave it, and it deserves recognition.
Oh no! This guy, he's too... Do you see this with
Yeah, that was a knife.
Alright, I gotta go check this out for a second.
Counter-terrorists win.
And boom goes the dynamite. No, apparently not. Fuse bomb. I wonder how Hearthstone is going to fit into people's top 10 lists. That's going to be an interesting one, considering it's been in closed beta for the entire time. Like, what do you even do to promote a game that's not actively available on any market? It's kind of an interesting conundrum. I was just talking about what is going to go on with the Hearthstone situation. Like, do you promote a game in your top 10 that's not readily available to any market?
It was supposed to enter this month, so I hope before the end of the year at least.
And then that'll give people like an excuse to say, well, you had a week to play it, guys.
Well, I think they'll probably put my top whatever in some context. It's definitely two of the games I spend the most time with this year. I'm real bad at Counter-Strike.
Phil's still giving away those keys, right?
Yeah, Phil Kohler. Just Kohler, hashtag. You gotta do the dire tide, like the 2 fingers pointing.
Yeah, the
thing.
2-hand thing. It looks like a Kirby.
Yeah, exactly. A bunch of people have been asking about the Stanley Parable, but I need to spend. I need to play like a lot of it. I've already gotten. I've probably played like 3 or 4 hours, and I get it, but I kind of don't get it. If that makes sense. Like I get what the game's doing, and I think it does a really good job of like subverting typical gameplay, and the narrative is really fresh. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't know if I enjoy that too much. So I do wonder if there's something with it that I'm like missing right now.
What do you think you could be missing? I'm not entirely sure I understand.
I don't know. I don't know if maybe if I you know, experience like 3 or 4 more endings, then I'll go through like a quantum shift or something like that.
Are you looking? I think there's like a codifying ending that will make the whole thing make sense.
No, I just think maybe there's one ending that'll resonate with me a little bit more, and then I'll be like, oh, okay, I get it now. This guy, stop taking my gun, you piece of G.
Like I just played about a half an hour of it for my video, and I want to definitely play more of it because I really enjoyed it. But I thought the whole point was just sort of to make, you know, pokes at games in general, and to like try to reimagine a new way to deliver narrative.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that from my experience so far.
Terrorists win.
So again, I think that's one of those games that's more of an experience than a game, and perhaps even borderline art, more so than even a game.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
The stay right here is where we end this.
That's gonna be, if that doesn't make it on my year-end list, it's gonna be like the Hotline Miami last year, where people were just like, "What the fuck is wrong with it?" I'm like, "I didn't play enough of it." And they're like, "One day you'll get it. You'll be sorry." And I kind of was.
You got it.
Yeah. Once I beat Hotline Miami this year, I was like, "Yeah, this game's like real good."
I heard Ni no Kuni was $9.99 somewhere online, and I kind of need to get on that because I need to play that game.
We own it.
This is probably the last PS3 game that I'm concerned with playing before that is put away.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. What about Disco Dodgeball? We'll come back to that in 2014, I think. Just like, I hate to hold this against the game, but it's kind of still pretty ugly. And I think when it's it'll be... That's a game where the gameplay is already so solid that I think once it actually starts looking as good as it plays, it's going to be really good.
I didn't know that the art style was actually still being developed. I thought that was what it was going to look like.
No, he did say that he's going to change it.
Oh, okay.
Which is good, because I do think it looks pretty work in progress.
Give it the old Spy Party makeover.
Yeah, exactly, and hopefully faster than that. What about Spy Party? Also, on
That's a negative.
Windy's 2012, I was like, 2013 game I'm most looking forward to is Spy Party. And I made like a wisecrack and was like, well, who knows? Maybe we won't see it in 2013, but that won't happen. Yeah, I'll do that again.
You don't know quite how able to see the future you apparently
Yeah,
are.
exactly. One of these days. That's going to have been in production for like 5 or 6 years. In fact, it may
Tower of Guns? Do you have an opinion on Tower of Guns?
played it way earlier in its development, and I think I'm just going to give it some more time, and I won't be playing it this year, probably.
It actually just had a pretty big update recently that added a bunch more things to it, so if there was a time, I think now it's fairly indicative of the actual experience.
I'll give it a try, then. I got nothing else to play this week.
It's like, I think it's like 62% complete or something, but there's definitely a solid amount of game that you can play through a few times.
What's the matter? Couldn't it be just 6.5
Throwing
points
Yeah,
complete?
you know. Yeah. Just add like a 69 occasionally in there for us, and we'll enjoy the game more. Like very frequently.
Yeah. Is there, there's a man that could come up this ladder? Fuck your brainstem. Alright, I've had my fun. Let's get killed. Anyone over here? Guess not. Hey, we won.
I saw Payday 2 on the chat a minute ago.
Yeah.
Anything to talk about on that?
Seems pretty good. Won't be on my list.
Yeah. I like it a lot. I think it's a really fun game. It's a lot better than I expected it to be, but again, I don't know that it necessarily contributes anything that would warrant it being on a top 10. Yeah. I don't know about that DLC, though. Kind of expensive.
Yeah.
Like $8, $7 or something for basically one mission that half of it is buried under a bunch of stuff you have to unlock that doesn't random drop.
You
And
know
then
what
it's got
the
some
story in Need for Speed Rivals is exactly like? Is the story in Payday the Heist. Payday 2, I guess.
There's a story?
Yeah, it's told through that like found footage of like just like stock footage of like cars driving away and then like people inserting magazines into guns. That's exactly how Need for Speed Rivals is.
Wow. So they got like some kind of a subscription to one of those video footage clip clearing houses, and then they put together the game based on what they could find.
Yeah, they have like they do the thing where they like zoom in on the computer screen and they have these like vague conversations that are full of like exaggeration and hyperbole where they're like, are you ready to put Plan X into action? Like, are you sure the world's ready for this? And then like Plan X is they gave your police car a spike strip. So they're like, you can put a spike strip down the ground.
I have to say this, and I'm going to be hated for saying this, but aside from the spike strip, it sounded like you were talking about a plot from Metal Gear for a second.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you very much. Or is it Tuzik_ just subscribed? I got confused.
Oh, we'll never know.
Yeah, okay.
Nick, what are your thoughts on Knack? I have no thoughts on Knack.
Why don't you ask me about my thoughts on Knack, chat? I don't have any thoughts on Knack. I haven't played it yet.
There we go.
I've been playing Rivals. I'm gonna finish it. It's a pretty okay game. Need for Speed Rivals. The driving parts of it are fun. At the end, full stop. Everything else is weird. It makes me feel like an old man because it's like you should like really get online, play Need for Speed Rivals. Go online, and then it's like a racing game. So you're like all driving around this world, but I played for like 2 hours, 3 hours, and never interacted with anybody that was in my game. I would see them drive by occasionally and be like, "Hey, Bob, how's it going?" "No, not too bad, Jim. You catch any criminals today?" And yeah, like we never did any events together or anything like that. I just don't understand how it works. I might as well just be playing this offline.
Which Need for Speed archetype is this game? Because there's so many competing franchise, or not competing, but like parallel franchises going on within that name. There's like the Undercover, there's the Run, there's the Hot Pursuit, there's the Most Wanted. Like I don't know where we are anymore.
It's kind of like the Hot Pursuit model.
Okay, I think that's a good idea because I think that was their best one.
I agree with that. You know, I played Most Wanted last week.
Counter-terrorists win.
Hey Ryan, don't knock Knack when talking to Nick. That's pretty clever. I like that, chat. We lost again, but yeah, you know, I've liked the last 2 Need for Speed games reasonably well enough, but I really want like a sim racer. Well, I guess Gran Turismo 3 comes out like next week.
But isn't Forza though? It's like it's a sim racer, but it's kind of leaning a little in the arcade style, where Gran Turismo is just like as technical as it gets.
Well, you know, if I wanted to play like a super simmy racer, PC, like I don't know, Project Cars or something like that, it's pretty simmy. If you got a simmy, I'm willing to go. But Forza is a pretty good kind of like my taste. So like, Need for Speed is like obviously crazy arcadey. It's fine. I like a good arcade racer as much as the next guy.
I think the most important element that people forget about is to what level is their Kinect interactivity when it comes to these games, and I think that makes a driving game much more immersive if you can talk to it.
Yeah, that's Xbox, turn left. Okay, how about a rally racing game where you play as the co-driver and you like you get the map.
You call out the turns.
Yeah, I was gonna say you have to link it to like a tablet, and it would have to obviously be like a Windows tablet, obviously.
Oh, of course.
A Surface.
Smart Glass.
Can't use an iPad. And then you get on your Surface tablet, you get the map, and then you just shout to your Kinect. You have like the passenger seat. You go like, Xbox, turn left 45 degrees, and then if you get it wrong, then you just die.
Okay, honestly, unironically, if there was a way for them to implement that as a 2-player mode in Dirt, I would be into that.
That would be pretty cool.
But I don't know to what way you would need that person necessarily without, like, how you could not have a problem without them. Like, how does that balance? I don't understand.
You could just do it on PC, too. Although it wouldn't make any sense if you were also driving. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Right.
Like, why would you need to shout it out if somebody else what does the driver do? They just sit there?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Ooh, pretty.
But I like the concept in that somehow,
I agree
in a simulation-y kind of way. Like I'm not known for being a particularly huge advocate of racing games, but I really do get into some of those rally games. Like Dirt was one of my favorite games for a long time, and it makes me really sad that I can't play Dirt 1 on my PC because it's not compatible with newer versions of Windows.
That really sucks.
And they made Dirt 2 and 3, and I just don't like those as much. They were more arcade to me, and the first one was like the sweet spot.
I played a lot of racing games.
Burnout, like I miss the old Burnout games. We could go back into that world. Crash Mode, that was my jam.
Crash Mode was a lot of fun. Even just like boot up the PlayStation 2 and play a bunch of Crash Mode.
Was it Burnout 3 that was your favorite for that?
Yeah, I think it was. Is Burnout 3 Takedown?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, because then they had Revenge, I think, was 4, and I just couldn't get into that as much.
I don't think I played any of them after. Burnout 2 was super good, and Burnout 3 was also super good. And I don't think I played them after
2 and 3, that was the highlights of the series for me, too.
This guy's got it right. Funky Guy 77, best racing game of all time was Project Gotham, IMO. Project Gotham Racing 2 is probably one of my top 5 games of all time.
Or like Project Got Ham.
Yeah, exactly. They should call it Project Goth Turkey. It would really roll off the tongue as well.
I like it anyway. So, like, you never see Batman in that, right?
In
Project Gotham.
No. You can drive.
That's kind of a huge point again, right?
You can drive the Pagani Zonda, which kind of looks like the Batmobile.
Oh, okay. At least they gave it a nod
Yeah,
then.
exactly.
If you're gonna set it in Gotham City, how are you gonna omit Batman?
That's another thing that I kind of dislike about Need for Speed Rivals is that it all takes place, at least as far as I can tell, in my 5 or 6 hours so far, in this one city. And one of the things I like about racing games is being like, oh, here's a track in the U.S., here's a track in Belgium, here's a track in Germany, and oh, we're gonna go race in Asia now. And I really dig that about racing games. Project Gotham has that. A lot of games have that.
I was really hoping you were gonna say that Batman not being in it was a huge point against.
Batman might be in it.
Game Shark. Not really. I have PC now.
I'm not a huge video game music dude nor a huge rock dude, but Burnout 3 had a great music soundtrack, in my opinion, says Mojave Music. I'm trying to remember what was on it.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Biff Naked, Red Tango, for sure. What was that Danny Warhol song? Danny Warhol song that got big.
I most likely just was running my own soundtrack and turned it on.
Counter-terrorists win.
What was that Danny Warhol song? It was come on, come on. Like that.
I'm pretty sure there was an Avenged Sevenfold song in there because they basically shopped that same soundtrack list through all of the games that the publisher sponsored.
Oh, yeah. They were on the same label as Hot Action Cop.
Throwing grenade.
Okay.
If we lose this one, we lose forever.
Die in Canada, you die in real
We
life.
basically suck. At the start of this, okay, let's not, but I was doing pretty well. Now and then, I was at least getting like a 1-to-1 ratio kills to deaths.
Was I supposed to say Artemis there or not?
Well,
I'm not sure.
I'm glad you didn't, because I was like,
No, sir.
I'm
Okay.
over it. From the storm.
It's not too late. I could still say it.
No, it's okay.
All right.
And it is too late. That movie came out in 1999.
It's a great year for movies.
Yeah, it was like that and A Beautiful Mind.
What year did The Matrix come out? Wasn't that also 99?
It was probably 99, yeah. It was also the year that Will 2K came out.
And The Mummy. Basically, all my favorite movies came out in 99.
Seems like just yesterday it was 90, now it's 99, 10 years behind me.
No.
That's Will 2K.
No.
Will, what's the matter? You couldn't have 4.9 more Ks, Will?
There was Rise of the Triad and Shadow Warrior. This was a good year for remakes of old FPS games.
Yeah, those games are fine.
Still need to play Shadow Warrior.
It's absolutely...
I'm gonna need to get the invincibility.
Resounding.
I'm screwed.
Alright, 5. I mean, I hit 6, but I wanted 5. No,
No,
that's
not today.
Oh,
I didn't.
okay. I'll go with 5 as well. There you go. Cat, I'm trying to save your life here. He's trying to jump out the window. Not
Is
the
Kate trying to drown him before, or what?
No, she's just cleaning the bathroom. He could have accidentally drowned himself, though. He's kind of a dingleberry like that.
Fight Club came out in 99.
I'm really glad to be on the counter-terrorist side of Aztec. I'm never on the counter-terrorist side of Aztec.
I don't even know what team I'm on. The blue one. That's terrorists. No,
Yeah.
counter-terrorists.
No, it's counter-terrorist, yes. Let's do this. Whenever you and I are on the same team, we always lose, by the way.
Yep.
So.
That would be my fault.
I don't think so. I'm pretty bad.
When we get to the end.
At least when we go on offense. Same thing
Got
with
naked beach or anyone. Oh, it'd be nice if you
Deploying flashbang.
whenever All right, that guy just.
Enemy Canada? Am I fighting Canada?
Yeah, good luck.
Damn.
You'll need it.
Oh, the guys got sweet guns. They're red and gray.
You know, if you die against Canada, you die in real life. What the heck? Oh, God!
Move it, move it.
This man is out of control.
He's in control.
Knifed me in the face. Move it. You know that.
Let's move it.
I like to move it. I like to move it. I like to move it. Move like you. Move it. Yeah, there we go. That was pretty good. Whatever happened to those guys?
Makes that really awkward.
Yeah. I